All right, guys, welcome back. Let me do a nice little update. Well, it's not even an update, right? Because I'm not going to show you charts or anything. There's no reason to. I had a conversation a few days ago with what's his name, KR. I had a conversation with him, and I said, "Look, bro, there's going to be these big moves coming in. When everybody's expecting something, we're going to see these massive swings, right? You know, 4, 5K, 10K swings, and it's going to shake everybody, right? So this is part of it, but I don't think it's quite there yet. We talked about a black swan event, like something crazy. Now, for me, what I'm looking for right now is the biggest one, and I'll be honest with you, is dollar collapse, right? I've got this crazy feeling that dollars are about to collapse, and if dollar collapses, then it will be like a domino effect where other currencies will also collapse, businesses will collapse. You know, there will be a lot of bankruptcies, X, Y, Z. So there's going to be chaos. All the stuff we've seen, like 2020, was nothing compared to what we're about to see. And the reason is I've mentioned this over and over again. It's all to do with this great reset that we've got coming in, right? So this great reset is coming in. Companies are not stupid. Nobody's stupid. You know, it's not that they're not making sales or this, that, whatever. Believe me, if a company wants to be, you know, needs to be bailed out, they can print money from thin air and literally bail them out. But that's not the case here. It's not about producing more money, it's about getting rid of the money, right? So that's the whole agenda right now. Now I want to move on to SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, and what's going on with him, right? So he had some liquidity crisis, which we don't know why. I mean, why would you have liquidity crisis if people are buying and selling on your exchange? What did you do with the funds? That's the biggest question. But anyway, leaving all of that aside, and leaving his sister company Omedia aside, situation that we've got is that Binance wants to buy. Now Binance has offered to buy, but what you have to understand, it's not a 100% like, you know, you have to. You know, it's okay. It's not, you know, if they buy, they buy, and obviously Binance wants to buy, right? So that's a good thing. What's going to happen to the FTX token, I have no idea. Now, looking at Binance, if they do take over the FTX token itself, because remember, if the token itself is something else, a complete separate entity, it shouldn't be impacted apart from people dumping out of fear, because you can see FTX US, right? That particular arm is staying still. SBF is going to be controlling that, but the global one, the one where there's about 1 million accounts on, that's the one Binance is buying. But funny thing is people who have 1 million accounts on FTX, believe me, they also have it on Binance. So it's not going to be really a big data exchange or anything. More to do with, I think, Binance kind of dipping its fingers into what FTX owns, right? And I'm not trying to say anything here that I could be wrong, but remember, FTX is heavily invested and, you know, has accumulated a lot of other currencies, right? And I won't name much, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'll probably get into one of them in a bit. So that's the kind of a situation you've got where there is a lot of you know, FUD out there right now, but the FUD doesn't bother me, solely because when I look at the cryptocurrency market, I've been talking about it with many of you, and I've been very, very transparent. I said, look guys, I'm not looking at alts right now, and I've said this to you over and over again. Don't care about alts. I'm not looking at alts. I don't want to know about alts. I'm not going to research alts. I'm not going to do anything with altcoins right now. The only one that I do have my eyes on, and I want to get some if I can, is Ethereum. Is on a discount, right? What I'm talking about, if I can, I'm talking about discounts. So my first pick was always BTC. The whole bear cycle, the way trending down when we were going down, all I've been looking at was BTC. And then recently I flipped bullish onto Ethereum, because I can see Ethereum's now kind of leading the market, and I believe that Ethereum is going to lead the next leg up, right? You'll see Ethereum pumping first, then BTC, and so on and so forth, right? Altcoins don't even come to the question, because altcoins will pump when the entire market pumps. So remember this. So if you are buying some at discounts, whatnot, right, you know, you buy just enough that you're willing to risk. And when I'm saying you're willing to risk, when you buy altcoins, your assumption has to be you're willing to lose that money. Remember this, right? If you're not willing to lose that money in alt, then you're playing this game wrong, because you're not always going to win. Altcoins will wreck people if you're going to hodl them, right? So what you need to do is you pump and you dump. That's about it. That's what altcoins are useful for, nothing else, believe me. All right, they could claim they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to change the world, but believe me, altcoins are useless, right? So now talking about like Ethereum, right? So Ethereum, obviously with all the merger, the ETH 3.0 and whatnot, there's a lot more going on. ETH is not finished yet. So I think ETH, once more news comes out, more positive news comes out regarding ETH, it's going to explode, right? So that's what I'm looking at. In fact, last season we talked about how ETH has a potential to go to approximately 15K. Now, of course, the market ended, Bitcoin ended, so there's nothing we could do about that. But based on the Fibonacci long term, and when I do stack Fibonacci, right, so it's a little strategy I use where I stack Fibonacci on top of a Fibonacci, I'm still seeing a 22 to 28 grand USD. Now, obviously, none of this could be right. All of it could be wrong, because if the dollar collapses, then what are we weighing it against, right? So it could be something else. Now, whatever the new coin or new currency or whatever is going to be, until it comes out, we don't know. But for now, what we have, we can only go by that. And so far, I am seeing 22 to 28K based on a stacked Fibonacci system that I use, basically. So yeah, this is long term, by the way. When we're talking about this, we're talking about minimum, you know, 2, 3, maybe even 4 years for us to go and see that price. So that's one of the reasons why I want to buy as much cheap as possible, and obviously hodl tight, right? Because that's the most important thing. If I can hodl onto it, then I'm just going to ride it up. That's the whole thing. BTC, not too fussed about. Again, BTC, I know a lot of you guys have heard me say this as well, where we're looking at 200, 250K. Well, current situation from where we are, I mean, this is just a theoretical thing. I'm not going to give you any data on this. It's not really based on any technicals, but just from basic fundamentals, right? So we can see that the previous bull run, when we started shifting from the market low to the market top, was approximately 22x the price, the bottom price. If we're currently sitting at $17,000, and we're talking about a 10x from here, right? And I'm just being hypothetical. If we're doing a 10x from here, that's 170K. Again, based on today's currency, based on the dollar. So obviously, if the dollar disappears, if everything disappears, it might be a whole different story. So this is just one of those kind of things. I'm just, you know, kind of telling you what's here now, not what's about to happen tomorrow. But that's the point. It's like, you know, it'll probably go to 170K. Now, when we want to play safety and when we start looking at technicals, we are seeing probably, you know, from here, maybe a 4.5 to 5x, maybe 5.5, 6x. That's about it, right? Again, these are all numbers that you will see on the chart. If you put a fib down, you will see it. If you look at the, you know, the previous trends that we've had and the diminishing returns, lengthening cycles, all of that, right? And I believe that the previous run we had, the one people like to call the 2022 bull run, which wasn't 2022, it was a 2022 bear market, right? Because we entered the bear market in 2021. So when you start looking at that, according to me, it's just a bear market, but we're still within the mega cycle, right? So you've got a cycle within a cycle. I've talked about this so many times, and this so much feels like what happened in 2019. The reason I'm saying this is, remember, I talked about this before as well, is that the 2017 bull run that everybody knows about, or like some people like to call it the 2018 bull run. The fact is that bull run started in 2015. That bull run started in 2015. So it took years for it to wind up to the level where it invalidated the previous high and then started shooting up, right? And that's when everybody says bull run, bull run, bull run. And then 2018 we had the crash, 2017 we had the crash, 2018 it was all bear market. But then we saw market momentum come back in 2019, and it, you know, went up and down, went up and down. And for me, that's when the bull run started. And I talked about it so many times. So guys, this is the bull run, right? It looks like it's going to go up and down. And of course in 2020 it went all the way down again. It crashed, right? So 2019 we went all the way up to 10k, and then we crashed back down to like 3.5k, whatever. And everyone thought, that's it, right? BTC is going down to $1 now. And all that FUD and everything came out. And then what did we do, right? You know, we started moving up, and we had this run from 2019 to 2021. Again, look at the pattern, 2015 to 2017, 2019 to 2021. So these patterns continuously play up. So now that we're in an even year, 2022, of course we're looking bearish, but 2023 for me looks very bullish. And so I can see the market resetting right now, probably around you know, we're in November now, I would say December-ish. I mean, just to be healthy and safety, I would say, like, look, it's gonna give you the signs that we're coming in again, and then we're gonna have probably some sort of an event which shakes everybody, which is happening right now, but it's just the beginning. This is not the main thing, right? And everyone starts panicking and whatnot, because what we need is extreme fear. We need so much fear in the market that all the shrimps, like all the shrimps, Willy Woo calls them the shrimps, right? Where the shrimps literally start exiting, right? Exiting for a loss, right? Because that's what needs to happen. You see, shrimps come in, they buy for $100, and then the same shrimps will always exit at $90. It's always the case, because they're afraid. They're playing with small money, but they're afraid, right? They have no faith. They just come in because of the hypes. So we need fear. We need the shrimps to exit. We need all those $100 trades to exit, right? I saw one the other day where the guy did 100x on a leverage trade in Bybit, right? And you know, the movement was like a couple of $100 where it went down. You know, the market, he shorted the market 100x. And I'm thinking, bro, would you play with $10? Because that's what it looks like. You probably played with $1, right? But you're flashing off how you did 100x, right? And you made 500% gain. What, you make $5? You happy with that? Happy days then, right? But that's the kind of shrimps we need to get rid of, because they're not healthy for the market. So that's what's going to happen. By the way, guys, it's going to get noisy. I'm about to go on the motorway, so if it does get too noisy, excuse me, because I am going to be driving a little bit like a maniac, 70 miles an hour. So it does get there. Now, the other coin I wanted to talk about, so let's leave all of that aside. The other coin I wanted to talk about was Solana. Now, Solana is just like every other coin, guys. So if you do look at the market, I do recommend look at all the other coins. Some coins have gone down further, like, you know, a few percent more than others, but the point is they're all the same, right? Solana is just another coin, just like everybody else. But yes, of course, because of the attachment with SBF, right, Sank Bankman Fried, right, it does look like the market's crashing or people are dumping. But what you're not understanding is FTX was dumping for absolutely no good reason, right? When you look at FTT token, I'm talking about, FTT token didn't have to dump just because Binance decided to sell, right? So it's one of those kind of things. Yes, they're having liquidity issue, fine, fair play, whatever. Binance made money, so that's the whole thing. And Binance is going to use some of that money to buy FTX, right? And think about it. I mean, SBF is a billionaire, right? His companies are in the billions. So I don't see why they struggled for whatever reason. So it's all part of something else. That's all I'm going to say. And of course, the market is dumping because of this. You know, because people are fearful and people think, oh, he's attached to Solana. What if he dumps Solana? And obviously Solana's having the vested schedules, unlock period is coming right now as well. So when they do come out, things are going to get a little bit messy, because a lot of the big investors who invested a lot of money will basically start dumping. Funny thing is, what nobody's looking at is, forget what the market's doing now. I mean, look at the time frame, right? The unlock schedule comes out right now. Wow, what a coincidence, right? You know, market comes almost to the you know, market starts showing signs of us moving up, and then we have a freak event, right? Just because of one exchange is buying another exchange. What's bearish about that? Absolutely nothing. But all of this just shows you that there's something else going on. and it's for the best, right? So, you know, I'm always one of those, I don't look at the negative things. I don't let negative things affect me, right? What's the point, right? End of the day, it's not going to help me. It's not going to do anything for me. What am I looking at? I'll give you a good example. Bought BTC at what, 20K? BTC bleeds down to 17K. So what? What are you going to do about it, right? You're going to cry? You know, forget it, right? Am I going to be fearful and now stay away from the market? No, I'm going to go buy some more. So that's the thing. I always look for positives in the market, right? Or in the whole attitude of me being who I am, right? It's very important. And, you know, that's what I'm looking at. Of course, Sol, everybody knows about Sol. You know, I bought Sol like $1, so I'll be really happy if Sol comes down to you know, $2 or something like this. Whatever it comes to, it doesn't matter, right? Because remember, market got wiped out, and I'm talking about not leverage, nothing like that. Leverage is a whole different ball game, right? I'm talking about the actual what do you call this? I'm talking about our market cap, right? So this is actual coin value, so market capitalization, market value. 1 point something billion was wiped out like in a single candle. So when you look at something like this, you can imagine, right, you know, how news can impact certain things. And believe me, a lot of people made a lot of money. Leverage traders who probably saw the news and thought, okay, I'm going to go short FTT, boom, they made a ton of money. And big boys out there, that's exactly what they did. People who have enough money to lose, you know, they don't mind. They'll play like 10K, 20K, 100K, you know, a mil, couple of mils, no problem. And they'll trade it, they'll short the market. That's what happens, right? So, you know, those who did, good luck to you. If you were able to do some FTT shorts, brilliant, right? Or any coin, if you were able to short it, brilliant. Because that's what you're supposed to do. Because that's what the big boys are doing. They will force it down. You know, if the market is coming down, they'll force it down even further, right? So like a cascading effect, right? They'll do that so they can make more money when they short it. So think about it, you know, and that's what's going on right now. But yeah, other than that, look, market itself, I'm quite fascinated. I mean, I'm amazed, not fascinated, I'm amazed, right? I'm amazed to the point where we drew a line and it actually came to those lines, and we drew a few more. We've got one around the 16K, one around the 13,800. I can't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but we've got those numbers, and we came to the 7. However, one thing also you have to look at, guys, is when we came down and we confirmed the first market bottom, apparently we hit the 17,500, and obviously I'm looking at technicals and I'm like, okay, we hit the bottom, can we go any further? And if we don't, then can we see momentum moving up? And momentum was moving up. However, you probably realize a week or so ago I made a video and I said, guys, look at where we are. There's a massive resistance cluster here. We have to get to here in order to be really bullish. But right now we're still in a downward trend. We're not moving up, right? And you can go and confirm and see that video. I have mentioned it. And so for me, I'm excited. I'm like, whoa, 17,300. Below that, that was a line I drew over a year ago. And we've just, like a year and a half ago, I think I drew that. But anyway, that line, we've just gone below that. I mean, that's a bonus. I'll be talking about this quite often. I'll be like, guys, this is where you get the biggest bonuses, right? And we finally got one. I ain't complaining. Do you know what I mean? I ain't complaining. By the way, guys, if it's a bit shaky or whatever, it's because I'm on the motorway. It's a bit windy, and I drive a 4x4, so you can imagine, you know, every bump and thing, you can feel it. I'm not feeling it, but the camera is, right? It's a bit shaky. It's on the window thingy, so it just shakes a little bit. But yeah, I mean, wow, I mean, whoa, what a week, right? What a beginning. This is fascinating, this is fascinating. But I'm ever so more bullish, right? I cannot stress enough how bullish I am, right? I mean, this morning when I woke up and when I saw it went down to 17,100 and something, you won't believe it. I woke up, I saw it, I was like, not there yet. So like, I went back to sleep, right? Why? I'm not excited enough, right? I need to be more excited. I am excited, but not that excited. I'll be more excited if we do go and touch the lower levels. The reason I'm saying this, guys, understand where I'm coming from, right? So, sorry, I was about to say this before as well. Sorry, I was about to sneeze. The reason I'm saying this, very important. Our last bottom, okay, our last bottom, remember we have W patterns, right? Or M patterns. Our last bottom was 17.5. Currently, we did a lower low. That's not a good sign, right? That's not a good sign if you're bullish, right? And you're hodling, right, your portfolio. It's not a good sign. That means we could potentially come down even further. Now, remember I mentioned to you before as well, I said look out for the higher lows, right? Higher lows is good, not lower lows, right? So we got a lower low, which means we invalidated the 17.5. That then starts causing us a bit of an issue, which means that now we've got we potentially can go down even further. And it's a cycle all over again, right? So we've come down. What are we going to do now? We're going to go up, and we're going to confirm. We're going to get back up the 20K, and so on and so forth, right? It's a story on repeat, you know. But it's okay. It's okay, right? Because you know, I see discounts, I see bonuses, right? And I'm sure I mentioned it to a few guys about a strategy. Like, say for example, you have 100% of you know, say for example you have 100% of a fund, right? So you got $100, and as the market comes down, you want a DCA. Of course you want a DCA, and you probably want to buy it over 10 rounds rather than buying it in one shot, right? But I had a strategy, and I talked about it so many times. I said, guys, what I do is, what I would do, I will buy a very small percentage as we gradually go down, and I'll save my highest amount of percentage of the funds for the lowest amount, right? Because that's where I want to pick it up. And if I don't, then I still got the highest amount remaining for me to pick up anything on the way up. And I've mentioned it so many times, right? I've talked about it privately, I've talked about it with other people, and this is some of the stuff that I usually discuss with some of my paid clients. But again, I'm giving it to you for free, guys. So what you're doing, like, share, subscribe, and share with another. I'm joking. Doesn't matter if you share it or not. I'm not here on YouTube. I'm not here to make money on YouTube or anything like this. I'll do what I do. I'm just me. So, and this, for me, I'm happy because I have the, like, you know, largest sum available down below, if that makes sense, right? So I am quite happy with this, and let's see where it goes. Because remember, I haven't even touched my alts yet. There was only one alt I bought recently, just a little small amount, Aptos, but I'm down right now, so I'm not really happy with that. Well, I'm happy holding it, but I'm just not happy what the price did. But it's okay, because that's a backup. If Solana screws up, then that's a backup for me, right? And yeah, I mean, I'm just getting ready. As I said, I'm not going to pick up alts right now. I want to see what BTC does, and I don't care if alt does 100x before I jump into alts, because I'd rather have the market momentum moving up, and I'll make money on everything, rather than me risking, oh, am I going to make money on this, am I going to make money on this, or blocking funds in assets that could only potentially go down if the market still keeps on going down. So think about that, right? It's like, we know when we say cash is king, similar to that, right? You know, if you don't have the funds, you can't buy anything, right? And if you've got the funds, then you want to buy as much as possible, but that doesn't mean you become stupid and buy, you know, buy the top and keep on like draining more money. No, you don't do that. You buy so you make money, right? You don't buy something if you know it's gonna go down, or if you don't know anything about it. It's very simple. You don't do that, right? Because you're gonna risk losing money. So obviously I'm not a financial advisor. I don't do financial advice. I'm not going to do any of that for anybody. So I'm just going to leave it there. But yeah, it's been interesting. I mean, this week's going to be very interesting. This month, yeah, very interesting. And funnily, we talked about this as well. We said, look, first couple of weeks of November could be slightly bearish. And again, it was bearish. It was just, oh my days. Everything is playing up just exactly how we imagined it, right? You know, we don't do predictions because we don't have, what do you call this, a crystal ball. We don't have one. So yeah, but we kind of projected some of the stuff. We thought about it, and it just made logical sense, right? Because remember, we do a lot of stuff based on logic, right? And it just made proper logical sense that certain things would happen. So it was like, if this happens, then this will definitely happen. If this happens, then that would happen, and so on and so forth. And so far, it's been absolutely great. No complaints from me. Market's doing fantastic. I know a lot of people want to say, what the fuck is this guy talking about? No, I am talking about market doing fantastic, right? Guys, you got 21,000 freaking coins. Take 17, 18,000 of that away. When we were sitting at 3,600 coins or something like that, right? I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. We were sitting at almost $3 trillion. And then now we've got 21,000 coins, right? So where should we be now? We should be at least like 7 times, right? So we should be 7 times higher. Does that make sense to you? So where we are right now, it's amazing. It's amazing. That's how I look at things anyway. But of course, most of them are shit coins, most of them are scam coins, so I wouldn't look at those. Talking about shitcoin, there's a shitcoin coming out very soon. Guess what it's called? Paradexes. I'm joking, guys. It's not coming out anytime soon. I spoke to the developers because we had a bit of an issue where the developers were busy doing other stuff and a little bit of technical issues as well. So there's a few changes that's going to be made. And you know, that someone refused to do it, XYZ, a lot of drama. So I said, finally, I said, you know, I'll do that part, you know, because I don't like to do coding or anything like this, or any kind of development stuff. I normally just tell you what to do. So I said, okay, you guys do the back end stuff, I'll do the front end. So yeah, I'm going to be doing the front end myself. So yeah, if it looks shit, you blame me. But yeah, should be interesting. Should be interesting. Let's see where it goes. But yeah, it's coming out soon. Now, one thing I do want to talk about, right, and this is about paradexes as well. I do want to talk about this. There's one particular collection on paradexes which is connected to the token, right? So this is a really interesting one. I've mentioned this before as well. There's 100 pieces of NFT, 100 unique NFT, each one individual, right? They're all dividend bearing, right? And that's the one that we haven't finalized or finished yet, if that makes sense. However, I've got some basic artwork, nothing too fancy, but obviously they're NFTs, right? We wanted to keep it as simple as possible. So I've got some of that NFT coming over. Basically, I got about 3 sets completely ready. There's a 4th set, which not almost ready. There's a few bits and bobs left to do, and then you got the final one. The final one's going to be the most difficult one for us to do. I mean, so I was thinking, if you guys want, and you know, if everyone's ready, we could potentially start the project with the NFTs, right? So what we can do is start selling the NFTs first. You know, get the community rallied and everything, and then launch the product itself, the paradexes itself. But I don't want to do anything, you know, just because I think that we should do it. Because remember, one thing, it's not about the money, none of that business, but I'm thinking more like, okay, should we start rolling the ball? Because we can if we want to. Because I remember we didn't do certain things, we're not doing it to raise capital and then carry on and this and that. Of course, a lot of the capital that will be raised through these NFT sales is going to go into development, back into development. That's definitely happening, and some of it is going to go to the like, you know, people who are involved and so on and so forth, right? You know, it's got to be paid, right? So that's going to happen. But other than that, everything up to now has been handled, so that's not an issue. It's not like we need money right now. No, none of that business. We don't need anything right now. Okay, there's none of that involved. That's all been taken care of. So yeah, I mean, basically we're just doing like kind of more like a revenue share, like a profit share. So if we do sell, whatever the sell is, from that sell there's a percentage going here, percentage going there, percentage going X, Y, Z, right? But it's all for the greater good of things. So I was wondering, like, should I launch it? And if I do, I can put it on OpenSea, and if I do it on OpenSea, I can then probably publish it onto the website, and have you guys go and view and see whatever. We can do this, right? But obviously I've got to sit down and freaking finish the front end of the website, or whatever needs to be done. But obviously the last one, the one with the dividend, that one, it doesn't matter actually, even if it comes out right at the end, because it's going to be dividend bearing. I think we can do the token and the actual NFT together, and then connect it all up, so that way we can do the launch of the dividend bearing NFT and then launch the token, and then because you already got the token, you immediately start receiving some rewards or whatever, right? You know what, that's how it's going to be, because it's going to be a staking reward coin anyway. So there's going to be a limited number of coins. You're going to be able to stake it for a limited amount of time, and there's going to be only so and so available. And once that's been staked and the rewards have been collected, that's it. And then we move on to phase 2 of this project. And remember, this project is not something that we're planning to run for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. No, none of that business. This is not a 5-year project. It's not a 10-year. It's this project itself, paradexes, the plans that we have is for decades to come. I mean, if we're successful, put it this way, I may not be around to see the final vision of what it needs to be. So there's a lot. You know, it's a big project, but obviously doesn't matter how big it is to me, how much time we've spent. What matters is how big is it to the users. So on that note, guys, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on another one. And don't panic, the market's just doing what it does. There's nothing you can do about it, right? But when you see discounts, you embrace it, and always remember, don't go all in. Right, if you are DCAing, whatever you're doing, always have some funds available, because these are opportunities that don't come every day, and when they do come, a lot of people don't have the funds to actually pick it up. Because there's one common thing a lot of people always moan about, right? They're like, oh, price is too high, I want it to come down. When it comes down, they're like, oh, it's going to go down even lower, and it never does. That's how people end up losing money. So guys, like, share, subscribe. I'll catch you on another one. Adios, my amigos.